All right, gang, today we are talking about Black Bolt, both the English and the Japanese version. We're going to look at set value, we're going to look at sealed, and then we're going to look at singles. So let's get into it. As you can see, the English set value is $2,800, which is pretty decent for a set that just came out. We have 412 cards, which is quite a bit more than Japanese. Let's take a look at Japanese. Japanese, we only have 174 cards, and this is less than 50% of the English, which is a set value of about $1,000. And you can see in the top cards, they're similar, but not exactly the same. The red Victini, that is the most expensive in English, is a promo in Japanese. We also have the Victini, what is it? The Victini illustration rare in English, that's a promo, is part of the set in Japanese. English also has what is it, the Pokeball and Master Ball Hollows, which help add value. So the reason the English set has more value, besides the Red Victini, is that, and well, besides that, English cards tend to be more expensive, is it has so many more cards simply due to the Pokeball and Master Balls. I mean, if you can look at some of these Master Balls already, you're looking at $20 a card on some, and you can just keep going down and $10 a card. Pokeball Hollows are worth a little bit as well. So all of those extra Master Balls and Pokeball Hollows adds a ton of value. Basically, we're seeing the inverse of Japanese 151. Let's look at the Japanese booster box. We're at $160. In my opinion, that's pretty overvalued. Um, Honestly, there's only $1,000 set value, and for a Japanese set to be that expensive, I mean, look at how expensive this has gotten in the last 3 months. It went up from $92 up 61%. What's it over the course of a year? Yeah, even when it first came out, it was only about $100. This is just incredible, absolutely incredible. Let's look at the ETB. Similar deal with the ETB. Still, I mean, I don't like looking at that. It's came out at $90. It came down to right about $70, I want to say. You're not going to see it on the chart. And we're up to about $108. Yeah, it's pumping. I honestly kind of think it's deserved with that type of set value. So let's look at some English singles. First off is the red Victini. And honestly, I don't know who is paying these types of prices for this. There is only 9 available on the market. And honestly, its all-time low is just shy of $400. Let's see, has it pumped up a bit? Hasn't really pumped up a lot in the last month or two, but I think it's just because not many sell. It's just so expensive. It's a cool card, but I wouldn't be buying it at that price. Next, we have the Black Zekrom. Now, I know these, like, all these polychrome cards are super popular. We can take a look at the last year. This is actually rebounding from all-time lows, which is at 350. Only 26 available on the market. Now, let's take a look at the SIR. So, the SIR, there is, as you can already tell, quite a bit more of these on the market, which is going to tell me that the polychrome cards are severely harder to hit. This is rebounding off of its all-time lows as well, which was right about $200. Yeah, just about $190. My bad, I misspoke. And it can be had for right at $200. Honestly, I kind of think that's a decent pickup. That's great artwork, well-known card, and the sealed product is just pumping while the singles are dropping. I don't think that necessarily makes a whole lot of sense. All right, so now that we got this to near mint Seismitoad, this card has been through a lot of pumps and dumps, market manipulation, whatever you want to call it, and it reached an all-time high of $219, hit a low of 120, and now it's coming back up, sitting at 150. There's only 35 of these available. And yeah, I mean, it's just Seismitoad. Don't think Kyurem's that popular. I do think it's nice artwork. I do sympathize with Gen 5 because it was the last Pokemon game I played as a kid. Hit an all-time high of $73, slightly rebounding from its all-time lows at 65. It's sitting at $66. And we have the Ends Plan. This is the top trainer card. I think this is great artwork in my opinion. 88 available. I think we're going to see something similar. It's pretty much at all-time lows, starting to level out right about that $57 mark. 88 available on TCG Player. So there's a lot of cards that are pretty much at all-time lows or just slightly above them, while the sealed product is just pumping through the roof. All right, let's take a look at the Japanese ones. Let's get this to near mint. I don't want to be looking at no damaged cards. There is so little of these. Current quantities, 5 available. Let's take a look at the year chart. This is at an all-time low, and the sealed product is at an all-time high. Make that make sense. The top chase is at an all-time low, but the sealed product is at an all-time high. And it hasn't even been out for a full year yet. Sitting right about $232. All right, let's look at the Zakaram SIR. There's only 16 of these available. So I really don't understand why there's so little Japanese product out there. I mean, not product, singles out there. I would think there'd be more Japanese singles out there than there are. I think people tend to hold a lot of English to, invest in stuff, and people rip a lot of Japanese just to get the singles for the artwork. Plus, the cards are usually cheaper, so to me, it would make sense that people would want to be churning the cheaper cards more and more. Like I would be, if I like a card for the artwork, I would rather buy the Japanese because it's a lot cheaper and usually the quality's a lot better. All time low on this bad boy is $123. And we're sitting right about 130 with the current quantity only 16 available. Yeah, we're seeing a common theme with the Japanese cards where there's so little available on the market that it wouldn't take much to get this to pump. And I think if the Japanese pumped quite a bit, I think the English would probably follow suit because people would be like, whoa, your PokeTubers would be like, whoa, this card's pumping. And then, you're going to get the masses that just panic buy the English and just get it to pump up, or vice versa. Last year on the Seismitoad, this clearly did not go through the same pump and dump that the English version did. Hit an all time high of 65. We're sitting right about 51. There's only 35 of these available as well. So this is called Ends Plot instead of Ends Plan in Japanese. There's only 13 of these available. Over the course of the last year, we're at all-time lows at $50. And our last card, Kyrim. And again, there's only 23 of these available. And it looks like we rebounded from all-time lows of 31, but it's not much higher, sitting at $35. So what I'm taking away from this is there's way less Japanese out there than I would have ever thought. I think that makes it easier to manipulate the market, easier to do buyouts, but people seem to not really do that with Japanese cards. They only seem to do that with English cards. I also think that the Japanese version of the sealed product is way, way overpriced. It just doesn't make sense with how cheap the singles are, how cheap the set value is, and how much the sealed product is pumping. English, I want to say that the ETBs have been underpriced for a while, and I think they're catching up to where they should have already been, even though the singles aren't booming either. And as you go through, like there is a ton of cards that just have fantastic artwork that are like $5 to $10 illustration rares. So I think if you're trying to match set, if you're looking for a bunch of cool artworks and stuff, they're probably not going to get much cheaper. And even if they do correct 20%, I mean, you're going to lose $2. That's not really that big of a deal. So I would definitely be interested, or I would definitely be targeting those if you're somebody interested in those. Same thing with like the Pokeballs and Master Balls. If they're only a couple bucks, I don't think they're going to get much cheaper than they already are. All right, guys, if you liked the video, smash that subscribe button. Check the description of the video. There's a bunch of links in there to help support me. You can check my website, maxpacks.com. Order yourself some sealed Pokemon. I sell English and Japanese. I do have some Chinese in there, but they don't seem to move that well. But if you're feeling froggy, leap, grab some. You can sign up for our email list. I send like 2 emails a month, maybe 3. Whenever I get a decent restock of product or a new drop, I will shoot everybody an email. You can also check out our other social media pages. If you're on social media, there's a link in my link tree with all of the same information. That's all I got for you guys. This is Max Pax, dipping out.